Welcome to the main pod week. This is a little recap conversation Charlie and I had the other day about our experience at the Bates Film Festival this past week. The main play week was a media sponsor of the festival, and we had a great time seeing films and chatting with the Bates students who worked really hard to put all these events together. Thank you to John Cavallero for bringing us on board, and if you're interested in our coverage of film festivals in Maine this summer, sign up for our newsletter at themainplayweek.com. Also, just to note that we recorded this outside at the bar Hunt and Alpine in Portland, so you might hear some background noise. Cheers! All right. So, Charlie, thanks for joining me on this lovely day where we've just been inside watching movies.
I know. Thanks for joining me as well.
Oops, spilled my drink a little bit.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, we're here at Hunt and Alpine Club. Can't complain about that.
Can't complain.
While we're out watching movies for Bates Film Festival. It's very exciting.
Yeah.
How's your festival been so far?
It's been pretty great. It's been coming down here pretty much every day. And Thursday, I was actually able to go up to campus, to Bates campus in Lewiston, to catch a film there. It was like, it's obviously like a very different vibe, right?
Yes.
Like on campus versus in Portland. Yeah. I mean, it's almost like two different festivals, you know?
Oh, totally.
And obviously, like, there's some, like, crossover audience-wise. Like, a lot of, like, Bates folks come down to Portland as well. But, yeah, it was really good. I saw the documentary, and I'm going to potentially murder this word. Anakubijigan.
Yeah, I think that's...
And it's a...
Apologies if that's not, because I also I couldn't...
But it was a really great documentary about Native American human remains being repatriated to the tribes from these, like, museum collections. So, like, very heavy film, and they had an excellent duo of people afterwards. One of the folks worked at the Bates Museum.
Oh, nice.
And she was talking about, like, their collections, and then the other guy was working at the Abbey Museum.
Okay.
Up in Bar Harbor, the Native American Focus Museum.
Yeah.
So just like fascinating perspective, and like I had no idea that this was like an issue.
Oh yeah.
How's your festival been so far?
Oh, it's been great so far. My first day of the festival was on Friday. My first one was going to be the Maestro, but I ended up planning incorrectly and got there too early, and so ended up watching the Marlee Matlin documentary, which was great. I was kind of happy that I made that mistake to see it, because I wasn't planning on it. But man, she's lived a life and a half. Well, so she won the Academy Award for Best Actress at the age 21 for Children of a Lesser God.
Right.
And she acted opposite William Hurt, and also they had a romantic relationship.
Wow. Maybe. It's like
he was extremely abusive to her, apparently, and would enable her with her drug addiction and stuff like that, and nobody believed her. Nobody believed her. And so not only was she acting as a like ambassador for the deaf community and being this like figurehead for that for that effort, she was also dealing with all this personal strife at the exact same time. And it took her being alone in New York and using up all of her drugs to finally check into rehab. And then at rehab, she also had to pay for her own interpreter, because she was the first deaf patient at the Betty Ford Clinic.
I mean, I had no idea she went to rehab or had a substance abuse.
It's insane. And
I had no idea. Because pretty much all I knew about her, just from like, I've never seen Children of a Lesser God, but pretty much all that I knew about her was like, Coda, her role in Coda. But wow. Yeah.
Well, and it's just fascinating because like another thing that's brought up throughout the film is how Children of Lesser God is just that's the deaf play and the deaf movie, and it's the joke is that so the film was also directed by a deaf woman, and they interviewed a number of deaf people, and it's almost like a joke and a stereotype that if you are a deaf woman, you at some point will be playing the title character in Children of the Lesser God. Because nobody knows how to cast a deaf person in a movie or a play, so they're just like, oh, we'll do the deaf role, and then you do the deaf role.
This is your box, and you're gonna fit inside of it. Yeah.
Meanwhile, it's like weirdly enough, like Aaron Sorkin was like a very good writer for deaf people, for like Marley Matlin especially, where it's like, you just have to. It's a different challenge.
Wasn't she in an episode of West Wing?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
She played. I forget. I haven't seen the West Wing in years.
Yeah, and it's like, oh my god, I could go on and on about it. It was so beautiful. Oh
my gosh, and you only saw half of it.
Yeah, I saw like three. I ended up seeing like 3/4 of it, and I'm like, wow, oh my goodness. But then that led into The Maestro, which was another great film starring Xander Berkeley. Plot was a little all over the place.
Yeah. We talked about it a little bit earlier. Yeah. It sounds like but it sounds like Xander Berkeley.
Xander was great.
His role was really really great.
It was good. Yeah. His because he talked about it in the panel that we saw after we'll talk about in a second, but he's good at doing accents, doing voices, and really inhabiting a character because he is a bit of a character actor. And he really did a good job with it. But there was only so much that you can do with a script that's a little bit all over the place. But it was still, it was a interesting, fun watch.
Yeah. Anywho, well, yeah, so let's talk about so we went to a main filmmakers panel, and it was, I guess, like, it was more kind of like main people in film. So it was 2 actors, right? Matthew Delamater and Dustin Tucker. And then Desi Van Til is a writer-director.
I think she's more of like a writer-producer.
Writer-producer. And then Xander Berkeley as a third actor. So it was mainly sort of like how to like make this career, like make this career work living in Maine. And like, is it possible?
Is it a fool's errand, or is it like worthwhile?
And like these people, like they've made it happen, and it's not easy because of the lack of tax incentives here. And that's like, I feel like that's a whole nother
that's a whole other thing.
That's a whole nother thing.
But man, Xander was like big on like wanting to talk more about that. Like,
He's been fighting that fight for a while.
Just insane.
Like,
I was here for it. I love it, but that's good for him.
Yes. And I mean, he's doing, and it's like, he's not necessarily doing it for himself. He's doing it for like, the folks graduating college today who are like, wait, I have to go to like New York or LA to get this experience. And the question that I was wondering that I didn't end up asking is the difference between like documentary, like nonfiction work up here and fiction work. Because they were all like narrative fiction work, obviously documentary production, documentary TV production, documentary film production, like that's like a whole nother thing. And there's several production houses in Maine that like, specialize in that. So I'm like,
and just Points North Institute being up here too.
Exactly. That like real like center of like documentary thought.
Yeah.
And so like I wonder if it's like maybe if you're into documentary, maybe it's a little bit easier to kind of like get that experience up here rather than narrative.
Which makes sense because you definitely do have to. With a documentary, I mean, like, I'm not saying a documentary crew is small, but it's like, I feel like you don't have to have as insane of a crew on a doc than you do.
And they're doc crews are often non-union.
Yeah.
So it's like, you don't have that barrier. Not saying that being a union.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. It's like,
labor people don't come at me. I am.
Being a labor union, it's all good, but it's like, it's usually docs are shoestring budgets.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It's also good exposure for people who aren't in a union or who can't be in a union yet.
Who don't have the experience to get their union card.
But it was great. So, and we also had the chance to speak briefly with Dustin and Matt. And why don't we flip over to that and kind of listen to what we had to talk about.
Part of the panel was sort of touching on the tax incentives bill here in Maine. And I was wondering, like, do you see any role that local movie theaters can play in that fight?
That's a really good question. And I will note, I am actually on the Film Commission of Maine. I'm very passionate about advancing those tax credits and bringing movies to Maine, more filmmaking to Maine. I do. I think that it's part of the. Hopefully, you want to go to the movies for the number one reason why I love going to the movies is to share storytelling with other people. I think, especially in the world that we live in today, I think the idea of sitting in a room as fellow human beings, watching something and sharing an emotional moment together, I think that is even more valuable than it ever was. And I just think that is just intrinsic and true and undebatable in my mind. I think from a financial standpoint and an economic standpoint, I think it's another reason why films in your community are good, because if more people are making films, more people are going to films, and then those industries that make a living off of that or create jobs because of that, they also thrive. And I think that's really what I think filmmaking is the bill in Maine and in different communities. It's a jobs bill. And I think, and it's a commerce bill, even if you don't care about the art, which you should, hopefully you do. So I think that movie theaters play a huge role in that. And I think it can be a positive role for everybody involved. Mm.
What is it when you've seen your work on the big screen? What is that like?
I mean, it's undeniably one of the best parts of doing the work. It feels more real. It feels like richer to see that work that you just can't translate on a small screen, frankly. And when you see it with other people and you get to interact with your own work in that way and the work of the other people that you've connected with and gotten to see how that work, even if you're not the one on screen, you were a part of it, came to be. It's just there's nothing like it. There's nothing like sitting in a space and eating your favorite candy or popcorn and seeing, big giant stories be told. I mean, it's undeniable.
I absolutely couldn't agree more. Do you have a favorite movie or a favorite couple movies? I know it's such a hard question.
I can't say favorite movie. It's so hard. I'm a big fan of. I feel like when I first met my wife, we've been together a long time. We went to this little lovely movie theater in Portland called Movies on Exchange.
Yep.
And we saw Amelie. And it was like, I'm a Western Maine boy. I didn't grow up seeing a lot of foreign films, I'll be honest with you, but I wish I had. And it was so, that environment, the smell, the experience of seeing that film and that story in that incredible environment, only thing existed in the world were those characters, was really, it really impacted me. And I think, and I'd like to say it was a brushstroke in my early love and desire to want to do this work.
Okay, Dustin, Thanks so much for being here. What was it like being asked all those questions by, these young students? Did it take you back to that time?
It did take me back. I love the question of giving an example of when you were helped and when you helped someone else, and I think that was probably the most important thing that was said, because that is what this industry is helping each other and supporting each other, and as Matt said, cheering each other on. It did take me back. I used to sit and look at these people on screens and, in these rooms and be like, oh, someday I want to be like that. I want to be up there doing that. And if it hadn't been for people offering a hand and saying, you want to do this? I can show you how, that's all it is. And it's just such an honor to be here.
That's wonderful. So at the Maine Play Week, we're all about the movie theater experience. Yeah. I know you said you are a new father.
I mean, I knew as of 9 years going on, so it's not that new. I've got it down now.
But how is movie going for you in your life right now? Do you go to the movies?
I go to the movies so much more because I have a young person. I mean, the movies I see are all rated G or PG. But it's so awesome. And the content that is, we didn't have this when I was a kid. We didn't have all of these movies. There's so much content coming out all the time. And I'm so happy about that. And this room really gives me hope, because I see all of these future filmmakers out there. And I'm like, yes, there's going to be more. But I love the movies. I think that going to the movies is a very special
event, and it's different than streaming it at home, and you're in a room with other people, like the theater, stage theater, like you're sharing an experience, and the energy in that room is just something that can't be recreated on your couch. So I'm a big proponent for going to the movies.
You understand the assignment. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Great. That's super great.
Well, I mean, at least luckily enough, the next day, you got to watch a little bit of American Fiction.
Yes, which I've seen before. When I saw it before, I didn't know that Dustin Tucker had that, like...
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know who he was. That scene was just, like, funny.
Yeah.
And so I was able to see that scene.
Nice.
And, yeah, it was just, like...
It's just good.
It's just so funny.
It's
He's
so
like,
funny.
Oh, wow, what a connection point. His line is actually, are those human remains?
Oh, there you go. Nice.
So, yeah, there's a little bit of a through line there, isn't there?
Yeah, exactly. A little bit, just a very slight one.
Just very slight.
Just a hint. But yeah, then
Yeah, what did you do?
I saw the docs yesterday, the documentary short program, and it was fantastic. We had 5 short films. It was Pea Shy, She's Got Balls, Dash, Age 92, Snowboarder, Tiny Movements, and We Were the Scenery. And all 5 of them were very
I've only
different.
seen, out of those, I've only seen Pea Shy.
Yes.
Because that was at SIF.
Yes. Amazing. This is such a fun, vulnerable,
And
and
it's
raw.
made by...
Yes, it's produced by...
directed by the guy
it's not directed by Alex.
No, but it's...
Directed by the subject.
The subject of the film, who we met when we were interviewing.
That's true. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. I was like, that's why he seems so familiar.
Yep.
Well, yeah, because it was shot by Alex Wolf Lewis of Unless Something Goes Terribly Wrong, and produced by Alex and Caitlin Swaljay. Swaljay.
Right.
I really, Caitlin, I'm sorry if you're listening. I mispronounced your last name. I'm so sorry. But so it's I could feel their voice as well, even though
it's very much like sort of spiritually.
It's spiritually connected
to Unless Something Goes Terribly Wrong. It's a really like remarkable kind of like feat of documentary, actually. And it's like you don't realize that because it's like, oh, this is funny and I'm having fun and whatever. But it's like it's actually like really impressive that he was able to negotiate all of that.
Oh, totally. Also, I guess we should say Pea Shy, basically the thesis of it is the subject, he has a nervous bladder and cannot pee in public or if other people are around, but he meets up with a bunch of other people who suffer from pea shyness, and it leads to some
hilarity
where I've never thought I would watch a video where 2 men would be standing in the same hotel room and not watching each other pee, but like peeing near each other. It's like the strangest thing. Strangest thing. And then the last one was We Were the Scenery. Another fascinating one where it was a family. It's basically a family of Vietnamese refugees, mother and father. They escape Vietnam during the Vietnam War, and they are picked up by the Philippines and brought to a refugee camp. While they're at the refugee camp, the film Apocalypse Now begins filming in the Philippines, and they are hired as extras for Apocalypse Now. And they were talking about like what it was like, and they had a great time, and they were paid. They got to see how movies were made and all that stuff.
Whoa.
And they're like, if I ever get to meet Frank Coppola, I think is what they called him.
Frank Coppola.
Frank Coppola. If I ever get to meet him, I'll be like, do you remember me? I was in your film Apocalypse Now, and I know your biggest secret. You eat a mango with the skin on. It's
oh my god.
Very, very funny.
That's very funny. Very funny.
I always love doing the documentary programs.
Yeah.
It's just always so enjoyable.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
I think it was before that I went to the like main student film
Oh yeah.
like showcase.
Yeah.
And it was, I didn't actually I was sort of like, bopping around to different things. So I
Yeah.
didn't actually see all of them, but there were a couple Bates students films, a couple Colby students films,
Nice.
and a couple SMCC films. There's one that at Colby, and it was about the forest, like Perkins Arboretum.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Like Runnels and,
Yeah.
like the forest around, and how, there's a lot of diversity, but the college is actually like cutting down like a lot of trees. There's this like really heartbreaking moment where Judy Stone, who is a professor of biology, who I never took classes with her because she was more like, ecology, kind of like environmental studies, and I was more like cell biology. Anyway.
Yeah.
But there's this really heartbreaking moment where she's talking about all of these pin oaks in the forest. They did genetic analysis and they tracked them down to these two like mother and father like pin oak trees right by Foss.
Oh, wow.
And so they like go over there to like where they are, and they're gone. They've cut them down.
Oh, wow.
So it's just, it was just like, oh man. And you see Judy being like, oh well, that's
what happens.
That's what happens.
Yeah.
They had a little bit of a Q&A discussion kind of thing, and it was just really cute to see like the Bates students and like a couple Colby students and like the SMCC students and like all sort of like mingling and like talking about film. And I was
love
like,
that.
oh, you guys are all so different, but like you have this in common.
Yeah.
Kudos to the Bates students. As two Colby grads, we hate giving Bates students credit for things, but no, they did a good job in reaching out to those students at different schools. Like,
and especially it's the Bates reaching out to Colby, but also reaching out to SMCC because they have a great program, and of course, like they've got Maine Mayhem that is going to be showing again soon at PMA. But
and at least the one that I saw by one of the SMCC students, like totally different than the kinds of films that like the Bates and Colby students were making. Obviously that has to do with like so many different factors, the professors, the equipment available, the focus of the program. I mean, it definitely kind of seemed like the SMCC students maybe had like more like equipment at their disposal.
I believe SMCC is like more of a, like you can learn a lot about production at SMCC.
And neither Bates nor Colby has like a focused production program.
Yeah, it's film studies.
Film studies,
Well, I don't even, is it its own department at Bates, or it's a part of rhetoric?
It's film and rhetoric, I think.
And then at Colby is cinema studies.
Shout out
Steve Wurzler.
Shout out to Erin Murphy. So Erin was there. Shout out to Erin Murphy. Erin Murphy, I took many classes with her. She was like kind of the main production person at Colby. She also teaches at SALT. SALT Institute for Documentary Studies. Great person, very talented teacher.
Oh yeah,
huge fan of Erin.
She's great.
We should have her on the pod.
I know we should. We honestly should. I don't know why we haven't. And then today, it's the final day of the festival today, and you got to finally watch Sentimental Value.
Yeah, oh my gosh, yeah. Little did I know that I'd be watching, that I could still see Sentimental Value in theaters months and months after.
It's I want to say like
campaign.
9 months after.
Hey, I was just biding my time. I was waiting.
You had the inside track. You knew this was happening.
I knew it was. I was like, you know what? I am not going to watch this on my TV. I am waiting until I can watch it from a Blu-ray at Space Gallery.
Exactly. Yeah.
It was funny. The Blu-ray, like the Blu-ray started playing, and it was like, this Blu-ray is intended for home entertainment only. No public performances. And which is like, that's like, that's fine.
Exactly.
I
know, they paid the licensing.
Like don't worry, Neon. Like, it's fine.
They did. I actually saw Sentimental Value on an airplane. Well, it was still in theaters and before you could view it elsewhere. And it was like, I guess on my plane, I'm going to be watching Sentimental Value. And it was great.
It's a sort of a perfect plane choice.
It's not a bad plane movie.
Yeah. I actually watched another Scandinavian film, Anatomy of a Fall, on an
really?
airplane. Yeah. And it was actually like, I was like, yeah, like, I wasn't really like planning on watching it
Yeah.
otherwise. So I was like, you know what? Like, it's here and I don't have Wi-Fi and I'm just going to watch it. And it was great. So yeah, Scandinavian dramas on long plane rides.
Yeah. Oddly good. Oddly fitting.
Oddly satisfying.
So I saw Ephes instead. And that finally also, well after it came out, finally was able to see it. Beautiful film. Just such a beautiful film. Just like nice and simple and devastating and lots of great quotes. Hot dogs are forever. The baby doesn't care. God cares. It's like...
It's a real New England film.
Very New England film where it's like somewhat, it's sincere, but lightly sincere. The shit talking is immaculate and there's a sort of eerie serenity to the entire process.
Eerie serenity is not something, that's not an adjective that I would think of to describe serenity. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like,
It's
but I know what you mean. Like,
yeah. In that film, there's so many shots of like the forest around the baseball park.
Yeah.
And as like as the sun goes down, it gets darker. It's sort of like, it is serene, but worrisome, which is like, it's the kind of what those guys are going through. They're losing their ability to play baseball.
Sort of like this passage of time
and refusal to give up their past.
It makes me want to go back and read our contributor Kyle's piece, and that was the first
piece,
long form essay that the main play week published. So I feel like Ephes will always have like special place in our hearts, even though still haven't seen it.
It's great. It's great. But it was funny. It's like after the film, Bob Tewksbury, who former professional baseball player, played for the Twins, played for the Yankees, played for a bunch of different teams.
Yankees.
I know, yeah. But he said, he's like, my wife and I tried to watch it the other night. It's a little slow. It's a little slow.
I feel so again, I have not seen it.
Yes, yeah.
But the sense I get is that, it's like, it's a slow film, but it's like, slow is not a synonym for bad.
Exactly.
And I think for a lot of people who aren't familiar with maybe that style of filmmaking, like, that means it's like, oh, they didn't like it because it was slow. Yeah. I'm thinking of when I saw The Mastermind at the PMA earlier this year, or last year? Anyway.
Last year, yeah.
Yeah, and as I was walking out, I overheard a woman saying, like, I feel like they could have cut 30 minutes out. And it's like, no, like, that's Kelly Reichardt's, like, style.
That's
that's the whole point, But, but again, I have not seen Ephes, so maybe it did really need to have 30 minutes cut out.
I think it was, it's the point, it's like literally, an Ephes pitch is a really slow curveball that confuses your brain. And so, like,
so it makes sense.
The beginning of the movie feels fast, and then it feels long. As they're like,
interesting.
It's representative of the pitch, but also just their desire they don't want to let go. They don't want to give up on this dream. But great ensemble cast of a bunch of randos, and I love it. And then the voice of Fred Wiseman over the radio.
No way! Yep. I didn't know that.
Yeah. You never see his face, but you just anything on the radio is him.
Late great Fred Wiseman.
Yeah,
it's amazing. Speaking of Fred Wiseman, there's a screening of Belfast, Maine, up in Belfast, Maine, at the Colonial.
That's next week?
Next weekend, yeah. It is indeed the 23rd, Saturday the 23rd at 12:30.
And it is a long film, but it's worth it.
Long film, but worth it.
Yeah, it's, 4.5 hours long?
Yeah, something like that.
There is a 45-minute intermission, I think, or maybe there is an intermission. I do know there's an intermission. But yeah.
Shout out Fred Wiseman.
Shout out Frederick Wiseman. Love him. In support of films. Ugh.
Yeah.
The organizers, I do feel like that there was a cohesive mission statement behind why they chose each film. But they should have absolute pride with the short program that they put together. I thought the docs were great. You really enjoyed the student films. I thought they did an amazing job. They should be really proud. And congrats. Also, what a cool way to finish off your senior year of college.
Totally.
Pretty freaking dope.
Yeah, honestly, I kind of wish. I feel like we've said that many times. Over the past week or so, it's like, oh, I wish that we had that opportunity. Yeah, I think that everybody, all the students who, have stood up to speak, before the films, then the ones interviewing the filmmakers or the guests, like super professional, super confident, like look like they really know what they're doing. I think John Cavallero should be really proud.
He should be really proud.
Yeah. And also kudos to him for doing like, I mean, a
doing
lot of work too
as well. Yeah, exactly. He's very much included in that. In the festival directors. But yeah, no, it was a great time. And
cool.
We're really happy. And thanks for letting us be the sponsor as well to BFF.
Yeah. We loved being a media sponsor of Bates Film Festival, and we'll be back covering the festival in 2 years.
Maybe they do it again next year. Who knows? You know, they say they're doing it every 2 years, but pre-pandemic they did it 2 years in a row.
Who knows? Things can happen.
Things can change.
Yeah.
Well,
thanks for listening, everybody.
Well, let's finish these drinks. Maybe get another one.
Let's do it.
Hell yeah.
The Main Pod Week is hosted by Nate Stevenson and Julia Dunleavy, and edited and produced by Nate Stevenson. Social media video is produced by Nick Brown, and music is created by Peter Coleman. The podcast is a project of the Maine Play Week, a new media publication covering the moviegoing experience here in Maine. You can support our coverage financially by becoming a paid subscriber to our Substack at themainplayweek.substack.com/subscribe. Send your ideas, questions, or other musings to hello@themainplayweek.com, and follow us at The Main Play Week on Instagram, Facebook, Blue Sky, and Substack. Learn more at themainplayweek.com. But most importantly, tell your movie-loving friends that we're here, and we'll see you at the cinema.